Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day. I want to welcome you back to part two of my live album Spotlight series on Led Zeppelin. In part one, I looked at The Song Remains the Same. And in part two, I'm going to be taking a look at How the West Was Won. Now, with regards to the release of this album, when it came out in 2003, the hype behind it was pretty big. The hype was that it was an album of material that Jimmy Page unearthed and basically forgot about and decided to polish it up, edit it, and put it together and release it. Now, the rumor went that he had a bunch of soundboard recordings that were stolen and that were bootlegged in the 1980s. But the recordings for this release, How the West Was Won, no one touched. So he was able to put them together and come up with three CDs of live concert that was recorded at three venues, at the LA Forum, at the Long Beach Arena, and at Southampton University in the UK. Now, the recording dates for these concerts were the 25th and 27th of June in 1972 and the 22nd of January in 1973. The album was released on May 27th, 2003. The album was produced by Jimmy Page. Upon release, it reached number one in the US, Canadian charts and number five in the UK charts. 18 tracks. This is an expansive release. Um, on March 23rd, 2018, there was a reissued and remastered version released on three CDs, four LPs, Blu-ray audio, and Super Deluxe box set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the track listing with you. It's quite expansive. There are 10 tracks on CD1, four on CD2, and four on CD3. So the album starts off with what's called LA Drone, and it's basically credited to John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page. That was recorded on the 27th of June at the Long Beach Arena. Lasts basically 14 seconds, just basically the band tuning up an audience noise. They kick right into the Immigrant Song, which I've never heard live before. That was what the appeal of this album was. Number one, it was a triple CD set. And number two, there were tracks on here that I'd never heard live. So that was the draw for me with this album. Very energetic performance of this track. Um, just amazing. The energy, you can literally, it's palpable. You can feel it. Then they segue into Heartbreaker. Okay. And again, just blistering, blistering version. The band is in top form. Jimmy Page has said, as I said in the previous video, that the band, Led Zeppelin at this point, were basically in top form in terms of a live act. You couldn't touch them. They were impeccable. After Heartbreaker comes Black Dog. And again, the band were known for going into extended jams, etc. After, and Black Dog is no exception, right? After that, again, he comes Over the Hills and Far Away from Houses of the Holy. Again, this is a section where the band can just basically slow down. They've come on stage, they've hit you in the chest with three brutal rockers, fast paced and just over the top. And right now, with Over the Hills and Far Away, they're just relaxing and taking a breath and letting you do the same as you watch them on stage, right? After Over the Hills and Far Away is another extended version of Since I've Been Loving You, 8 minutes and 2 seconds, just blues galore all over the place, just amazing. Uh, Robert Plant's vocals on this are just drenched in angst and, just the raspiness of his voice, just Unbelievable, really emotional. After Since I've Been Loving You, they go into a 9-minute version of Stairway to Heaven. Just amazing. And it's also, it's got to be said, the Mellotron that was used from this performance was, which was at the LA Forum. The Mellotron that was used from the Southampton performance. So what he had to do, Jimmy Page, when he put the music together, he basically had to cut and splice and cut and paste different audio tracks from different performances to get a cohesive recording of this. But it's fantastic. It's seamless. Okay. After Stairway to Heaven, you have Going to California. This is where the band basically, they're sitting in front of the stage on stools and they take a bit of a breather again and they go through an acoustic set. Going to California, an amazing track from Zeppelin 4, just very whimsical in terms of the vocal performance, and you can hear the crowd getting into it with hand clapping and really getting into the performance. Just beautiful, just breathtaking. After that is That's the Way from Zeppelin 3, my favorite track, or one of my favorite tracks from Zeppelin 3, that was recorded again at the LA Forum on June 25th. An extended version of it, like 5 minutes and 54 seconds. And again, the crowd is really getting into this, just really heartfelt version of this song. Um, Robert Plant sounds like he's got his heart on his sleeve with this song. It's just beautiful. I've always loved this song. Um, okay, the disc ends with a rendition of, and I hope I'm doing this right, with Barney or Stomp, with John Bonham on backup vocals. And again, the crowd is getting into it, hand clapping, getting into it, sort of getting the group going. And the group and the audience are basically feeding off one another, right? Just amazing. That ends off disc one. That is just disc one. 10 tracks. Okay. At this point, you're basically drawn into the performance. It's like you're right in there. It's like you're in the audience watching this whole concert. Disc two starts off with Dazed and Confused. Again, another 25-minute, 25-second version. And at this point with the track, yes, there's the standard arrangement, with the bass intro and the guitar. But with this version, they go off into different tracks. They do a bit of Walter's Walk, the Crunge, and then they go back into Dazed and Confused, with the solos and the whole bit. But it is beautiful. It is amazing. It is right in your face, very guttural. And the Crunge is very funky, right? It's a very funky track. And you really don't expect it after hearing the blues of, Dazed and Confused and the heavy guitar of Dazed and Confused. But you know what? It fits. It does fit. After Dazed and Confused is a track that I never heard live, and that is What Is and What Should Never Be from Zeppelin 2. Just an amazing, like blistering version of it. Just beautiful. After that is Dancing Days from Houses of the Holy. I've never heard the song live, and this version of it, playful, right? The audience is getting into it. It's a beautiful summer night. They're enjoying it. The band is getting off on the audience enjoying it, and they're all having a good time, right? What's the problem, right? We're all there. You're all there, sorry, for one purpose: for you to enjoy the music, and for the band to enjoy bringing it to you, right? That's where the the combination came together and it worked really well. All right. After Dancing Days is a blistering version of Moby Dick, clocking in at over 19 minutes long. Okay. Again, this is where the band go off and they leave Bonham on stage to do his magic on the drums, and he does not disappoint. Just beautiful, right? Bombastic, over the top, whatever you want to call it, it works. That's the end of disc 2. Okay. Disc 3 starts off with Whole Lot of Love, and it goes off into other songs as well, like a medley. You're looking at the track clocks in at 23 minutes and 7 seconds. Okay, so it starts off with Whole Lot of Love, then it goes into Boogie Chillin', and there's three other tracks. Let's Have a Party, Hello Mary Lou, which with the 2008 18 reissue, Hello Mary Lou was omitted from the track listing. And it goes into another track called Going Down Slow. So that's a medley that the band is really getting into it. The audience is responding with, clapping and really just showing their appreciation. Everyone is having a fantastic time. Okay. Rock and roll is next in the set list. And again, John Bonham is in top form, just going for it. Okay. The band almost can't keep up with him because he's going that fast at a, almost like a breakneck tempo kind of thing. And it's just great. It's fantastic. The Ocean is track number 3. And again, The Ocean to me has always been almost like a real funk type of track. Heavy drums, blistering guitar, and again, the band are having fun. Track 4 on CD3, and the last track on the album is Bring It On Home and Bring It On Back from Zeppelin 2. A blistering 9-minute and 20-second version of it. Just amazing, right? Just brilliant. And again, that is the end of the album. The playing time for the triple disc clocks in at 151 minutes. So you are getting your money's worth. Now, in terms of an album, in terms of a live album, this album came for some people as a big surprise. It did for me, because again, nobody knew that there were soundboard recordings of early Zeppelin before The Song Remains the Same. The Song Remains the Same, as a soundboard recording, was considered to be the one and only true commercially available live album for the band. Obviously, there are other bootleg soundboard recordings. Flying Circus from '75 is one of them. There are other audience, or based recordings. When this album came out, How the West Was Won, it was a pleasant surprise for me and for a lot of other people. So please, down below, please tell me what your opinion is of How the West Was Won. Do you like it? Do you prefer The Song Remains the Same? Do you prefer How the West Was Won? Or do you like both of them equally? I'm going to come back with part 3 of my series of live album spotlight on Led Zeppelin, and I will talk to you about my opinions on both The Song Remains the Same, the reissued, remastered version, versus How the West Was Won. So please stay tuned for part 3 of the series. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I thought that this was important to do. And for selfish reasons, I wanted to talk about it. So again, please let me know what you think of How the West Was Won, and put your comments below. And again, there are no right or wrong answers, just opinions. And please click like and subscribe, and click the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content that I've got coming up. In terms of other series, along with part 3 of this series, I've got more episodes coming up with Bill Schuster. Possibly we're going to be filming next week of a continue of our top 5 albums of the 1990s. We have years 1993 to 1999 to cover. And Bill Schuster and I failed to mention this on our last episode together, we will be doing our top 30 prog tracks. So that's going to be another series in itself. We're going to do that in a 3-part series where we're going to cover 10 tracks per episode. Because if we did all 30 prog tracks in one episode, that would become basically a prog album in video form. So we're not going to do that. It'll be too long. So please stay tuned for those episodes. We will still be doing our viewer's choice idea. We have an album that we're going to be talking about, but we, have to make our notes. So please stay tuned for all that. And again, stay tuned for part 3 of my live album Spotlight series on Led Zeppelin. Song Remains the Same versus How the West Was Won. Stay tuned for all that. Please take care of yourselves. Have a good night, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye for now.